Sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit, but it's all going to be based on evidence.
The feud between It Ends With Us stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is now threatening to pull in Taylor Swift after her name surfaced in court documents. Baldoni's lawyer says he could depose the star singer, and now a new $7 million lawsuit has been filed, this time against Lively. My part, one thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. Through text messages, videos, and screenshots, the director of It Ends With Us says he can prove that he didn't harass the actress and he didn't try to. Oh boy, things are getting messy for Blake Lively. Justin Baldoni and his legal team have a few choice words for her. Basically, they are calling her a liar. After Blake filed a lawsuit accusing Justin of harassment and misconduct, he and his team fired back within 48 hours, saying that's not what happened and they've got the receipts to prove it. Since Justin took legal action against Blake and her allegations, it's been one blow after another for her, Ryan Reynolds, and everyone else caught in the drama. Now, Justin is dropping text messages and behind-the-scenes footage, and according to his lawyers, they are just getting started. As time progressed in this film, she decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits, she wanted to be part of the editing team. There were people hired, like human beings actually hired, to do the editing job who had done work as editors. For those who may not have caught up on the drama, things are getting messy. Justin Baldoni, along with Jimmy Heath, Wayfarer Studios, and his publicist, first sued the New York Times, the outlet that originally published Blake Lively's allegations. But that was just round one. In the second lawsuit, Justin went after Blake and Ryan Reynolds directly, and this is where the Game of Thrones references, Taylor Swift drama, and some seriously shady text messages come into play. Justin's first lawsuit claims that the New York Times worked with Blake to twist the narrative, cherry-picking evidence and leaving out key details to make him and his associates look bad. According to Justin, when the New York Times reached out before publishing, he and his team told them Blake's side wasn't true, but the article still ran. Justin believes it was part of a month-long effort to push Blake's version of events. He even alleges that the Times rushed to publish the story 2 hours early to control the narrative. Are you saying that they got changed copies of the communications, or that they changed the communications to remove emojis? Are you blaming the New York Times for doing that? I'm blaming the New York Times for participating with Blake Lively's publicists and engaging in this campaign. As for Blake, instead of suing anyone directly at first, she filed a right-to-sue letter with the California Civil Rights Department, basically allowing her to avoid the discovery process and keep things confidential. But now that everything is out in the open, Justin's team says her goal wasn't really a lawsuit, it was to make herself look credible. One of Blake's biggest claims was that Justin and his team tried to ruin her reputation by using their media connections to push negative press. She even showed text messages that appeared to prove this, but Justin's team hit back, saying Blake doctored those messages to make it look like a full-scale takedown was happening. They released their own receipts, showing internal discussions where Justin's team actually worried about Blake's PR team pushing fake positive comments about her. In one exchange, Justin asks, "How can we prove we aren't doing this? It looks bad." His colleagues reassure him that Blake's team is behind it, and another PR rep downplays the situation, saying people are simply reacting to Blake's own actions. Justin's lawsuit also points out that Blake edited messages to fit her narrative. For example, she shared a text exchange where someone sent an article titled "Could Blake Lively be cancelled?" and a team member responded, "Wow, you outdid yourself with this." But Justin's team claims that Blake conveniently removed emojis and sarcasm, making the message look serious when it was actually a joke. At one point, Justin sent his PR rep, Melissa, a TikTok from Perez Hilton in which he claims someone from Justin's team had told him to post negative content about Blake. Justin immediately asked, "This is not us, correct?" Melissa shut it down, saying, "None of us would ever do this." She even dismissed Perez as a troll and assured Justin that no credible outlet would take him seriously. Another text exchange shows Justin's team sharing articles about Blake's past controversies, but Melissa insists they had no idea about any of it. She tells Justin, once the media goes in, they go in. Essentially, she suggests that the backlash wasn't orchestrated, it was just the internet digging up dirt on its own. She even adds, Blake handed it to them on a plate. One of the biggest hits to Blake's claims is a text conversation between her own publicist, Leslie Sloan, and a Daily Mail reporter named James. Leslie insists, I'm not paid to take people down. I'm honest. James responds, Melissa hasn't done anything anti-Blake. She told me the same thing she told you, that the backlash is organic. But Leslie disagrees, saying, it's not. James then reveals that he never heard anything about Blake's essay claims until much later. He says that in multiple conversations with Leslie, she never once mentioned Blake's allegations against Justin. He even suggests that Leslie has a history of lying, explaining that she often gives reporters information only to later deny it when her clients get upset. Blake's lawsuit also alleged that Justin's PR team was celebrating after shutting down HR complaints on set. Many assumed this was about the essay allegations, but Justin's team countered that by revealing an email from TMZ. In the email, TMZ asks if at least 3 HR complaints were filed against Justin, but the key detail? Those complaints were about workplace conflicts, not essay. A TMZ reporter even told Melissa that their sources on set found Justin to be a nice guy. The real issue, according to these insiders? Blake's huge ego. Melissa later messages TMZ, saying, Blake Lively's camp keeps thinking we're the ones placing stories, but we're not. The TMZ reporter replies with something even more cryptic, wait till I tell you the whole story. You think you know, but you don't. In my whole career, I've never come across something like this. Additionally, Blake's lawsuit claimed that Jamie Koo once showed her a video she thought was adult content, but it turned out to be a recording of his wife giving birth. She described the experience as disturbing. However, Jamie defended himself, saying the video had nothing inappropriate about it, it was just a personal moment. They even shared a still from the video to push back against the harassment allegations. The New York Times backed Blake's claim that both Jamie and Justin repeatedly entered her trailer uninvited while she was undressed, even when she was breastfeeding. But Justin's lawsuit presents a different story. Blake was actually the one inviting him in. A text from Blake to Justin reads, I'm just pumping in my trailer. If you want to work on our lines, Justin responded. Copy. Eating with the crew and we'll head that way. This contradicts Blake's narrative and suggests missing context in her lawsuit. Blake also accused Justin of objectifying her by wanting to make her character look sexier. However, Justin's lawsuit includes texts where Blake herself expressed a desire to enhance her character's look. In one text, she even describes an outfit as much sexier and says, as a girl, I'd check that out walking down the street. Another key point in Blake's lawsuit was the claim that Justin enforced unwanted kissing scenes and frequently discussed his intimate life. But in Justin's response, he says Blake intentionally left out that she refused to meet with the film's intimacy coordinator. This forced Justin to handle those discussions alone and relay the coordinator's notes to her despite his reluctance. They eventually worked on the intimate scenes together without the coordinator. Justin argues that their conversations were about character development, not inappropriate discussions, as Blake made it seem. To back this up, he shared a screenshot with a producer where he explained that Blake refused to meet the coordinator early on, which could disrupt the workflow. Blake's lawsuit also mentioned a behind-the-scenes moment where Justin allegedly put his lips near her neck and commented on her scent, despite the scene being a silent montage. But Justin's team released footage proving the moment wasn't as one-sided as she described. Numbers, noses, and my nose is so big. Yes, I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just got to shut down, we got to call an insurance month, and just deal with that. As you can see, Blake wasn't just acting in these scenes, she was deeply involved in directing them. The video shows Blake and Justin laughing and chatting about how to approach the scene. Justin jokes about getting his beard on her, and Blake laughs, saying she's probably getting her spray tan on him. When Justin says it smells good, she casually replies, it's my body makeup. It was a light-hearted and professional conversation, far from the inappropriate encounter Blake claimed. The lawsuit then shifts focus to control over the movie. Justin argues that Blake is running a smear campaign against him because she was exposed for taking over the film. Justin's company, Wayfarer Studios, secured the rights to the novel in partnership with Sony, but despite being the director, he lost creative control to Blake, who was given a producing credit. Justin's lawsuit includes a shocking revelation. Sony allegedly sided with Blake so much that even the film editors weren't allowed to review her version of the cut. In a text conversation, Justin asked his editors if they had seen her edits. The response, "We are not permitted to look." Justin was stunned. The editors and director aren't allowed to see an actress's cut. Got it. Later, he told his team he had no choice but to accept her demands for the sake of the film. To make things worse, Blake reportedly pushed Justin out of the movie's promotional events to ensure her version of the film got the spotlight. And if you thought Blake was done stirring the pot, think again. She and Ryan Reynolds have been throwing subtle shade at Justin for a while now, trolling him in ways that most people wouldn't even catch. But when you connect the dots, everything starts to make sense. Turns out, Ryan wasn't just a supportive husband, he reportedly had a hand in rewriting the script. One cast member even confirmed that Ryan tweaked multiple scenes and made major changes, something almost no other actor would get away with. But because Blake was involved, the usual rules didn't apply. Hold on, you guys have to see this. No, Ryan's here tonight. What is it like for the both of you to be promoting major motion pictures at the same time? Oh my gosh, it's just so thrilling in our house right now. We help each other. We work together so much. The iconic rooftop scene in this movie. My husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows that. But he wrote it. He works on everything I do. I work on everything he does. So his wins, his celebrations are mine, and mine are his. I mean, he's all over this film. We know from the start that Blake and Ryan were constantly changing lines, reworking scenes daily, and causing tension on the set. Blake knew exactly how to play Justin. She showered him with praise, calling him one of the best directors she had ever worked with. She claimed that other directors had always shut her down, never letting her contribute. And Justin, wanting to be fair, gave her creative freedom. That decision would come back to haunt him when she ended up rewriting a crucial rooftop scene, setting off a chain reaction that changed everything. Will you please get down from there? I'm good, thanks. According to Baldoni and his lawyers, Blake made sure to emphasize that Ryan and Taylor Swift absolutely loved her version of the scene and couldn't wait to see Justin's reaction. But she didn't stop there. She even invited Justin to her penthouse, where Ryan and Taylor hyped up her writing, convincing Justin that it had to stay in the film. Afterward, Justin texted her, praising her talent and assuring her that he'd try to incorporate some of her ideas into the final cut. This is where the Game of Thrones references started. In one of their messages, Blake even compared herself to Khaleesi, saying she had dragons on her side, aka Taylor and Ryan Reynolds, who would back her up no matter what. She wasn't just name-dropping. Blake was making it clear that she had serious influence in both the movie and music industries, proving that she held the upper hand. But Blake didn't just want one scene rewritten, she wanted control over the entire script. Justin, trying to keep the peace, let her make changes daily, hoping to avoid conflict. But as time went on, the rewrites became more frequent, and Blake started questioning every single directing decision, creating even more tension behind the scenes. Before filming even began, drama was already brewing. Allegedly, Justin made a comment about Blake's weight, and just like that, boom, accusations of fat-shaming exploded. But here's the real tea, Justin wasn't making any shady remarks. He had simply asked her trainer about her weight because he had a scene where he needed to lift her. With his back problems, he just wanted to make sure it was safe. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, that conversation didn't stay private for long. Blake was not having it. She told Ryan, and the next thing you know, Ryan stormed into their penthouse, ready to go full Deadpool on Justin. He accused him of body-shaming Blake, and from there, things spiraled. But Blake wasn't done yet, oh no. She reportedly threatened to walk off the project unless Justin played by her rules. And if he didn't, she made it very clear that she'd go public with accusations that he fat-shamed her. At this point, Justin was stuck between a rock and a PR nightmare. Meanwhile, Blake had successfully turned Ryan against him, getting him so riled up that, even though Justin had done nothing wrong, he still found himself apologizing just to keep the peace. But was that the end of the tension? Of course not. The production moved forward, but behind the scenes, it was anything but smooth. Blake, despite later claiming that Justin had harassed her during the first month of filming, was still texting him constantly. And here's where things get really weird. She kept asking for daily footage of the film. If she felt truly harassed, why was she so eager to stay in constant communication and see what was being filmed? Even more bizarre, her messages were full of praise, complimenting the clips and even asking for more. And here's the thing, the leaked footage from the film tells an entirely different story from what Blake is claiming in her lawsuit. In the lawsuit, she accused Justin of being inappropriate by allegedly kissing her neck, sniffing her, and telling her she smelled good. Sounds like a lot of accusations, right? But when you actually watch the raw footage, it's clear that the entire scene was taken completely out of context. Blake might not just be facing a lawsuit, she could also be losing friends, money, and credibility in the industry. Now, not only does Justin have a real shot at winning this case, but Blake might also be watching her carefully curated public image unravel.